Why is my computer really slow despite having a considerable amount of free memory? I have a Lenovo G5 63 to 4 years old, Intel i5, with 2 GB RAM and with a GeForce 310 meters. It always had some issues during startup or when starting a new program, but recently it just went crazy. From the 2 GB I always have 300 to 800 MBs free, and the cached memory rarely goes above 300, from 1.9 GB maximum. The CPU performance is great, barely reaches 40%. Even like this, when I start or even just swap the screen to another bigger program, the change of the windows becomes really slow and gradual. For example, I see the pop-up visual effect, but have to wait for the new windows, which appears only very gradually. First the edge of the frames, then other parts etc. At the same time the mouse cursor's movement is fine, but not the context-dependent changes, and I also got immediate response for the Alt plus Tab combo. That is, the pop-up window with the open applications. The lagging also stops sometimes when the program has already loaded in the window. My suspicion would be that the hard drive causes the whole thing, because its LED works a lot, and the laptop had always a considerable degree of lag when I had to manage files or start programs, especially compared to their loaded speed. On the other hand, however, the resource manager does not really show too much disk usage, or I just do not see it. I ran WinZip Utilites to optimize the computer, malware/junk search, disk defragmentation, driver updates, registry cleanup, but it made things even worse. I think the reason for this was that it turned on the arrow theme. When I changed it back to basic, after the Windows noticed the slowness and asked about that, it did some help. Now it is just slow. Some resource monitor screenshot during lagging.
The disk activity is on the page file. You need more RAM. Note that the WinZip memory optimizer is using more than 25% of the RAM. I get rid of that and any similar utilities before you investigate further.
Two GB is not plenty of RAM. I consider that the minimum for medium usage pieces. Also, your hard drive is a 5,400 revolutions per minute drive, which is going to be a huge bottleneck. When the 2 GB of RAM does need to fetch, and it will often, then it is going to have to go to your slow hard drive. This is confirmed by the high I/O we see on your hard drive. I would at minimum upgrade the drive. Either get a hybrid drive like the Seagate Momentus XT or an SSD. This alone should fix it, but a bump in RAM would also make a huge difference. As for I ran WinZip Utilites to optimize the computer, malware/junk search, disk defragmentation, driver updates, registry cleanup, but it made things even worse. Not surprising. These optimization programs are known for causing issues more than fixing them, especially when they are allowed to touch the registry. All they can do is guess, and it can be bad. I would upgrade the hard drive and use a clean new image.
I don't know if I'd call 2 GB a lot of RAM. But that's not the point. Run some tests on your HDD. It could be on its way out. If that checks out, move to the next idea. I would highly recommend reinstalling the OS. It still never ceases to amaze me how often this works. For all you know, there's an issue in the registry, or some DLL file, or God only knows what. If you reinstall and you're having the same problem, you can be certain beyond almost all doubt, it's a hardware problem, and then you troubleshoot accordingly.
The most obvious solutions have already been given by others. Add memory. 2 GB is really not enough for Win 7. Remove the memory optimizer. Some other things that may help permanently. If you are also unsatisfied with slow startup, use Startup Delayer. And check program settings start when Windows starts. Do you really need that? Check what all the processes running in memory are for. You can probably ditch several programs that you don't need. Disable the search indexing that Windows does. I have seen machines with slower HDS and low memory grind their disks because of that. Scan your disk with software that investigates all sectors and enables the smart system to reallocate bad sectors, HDD regenerator or SpinWrite. Some other things that may help a little, temporarily, for specific programs or speed in general. Take some time to clean your disk. All browser cookies older than 2 to 3 years. I had accumulated 12,000 cookie files in 5 years, all temporary files, and files you just don't need anymore. Burn them to DVD or store them in the cloud. If you have more than one partition, move the swap file to another partition, then back. This recreates the file. If you have only one partition, run sysutils page defrag. Others will probably come up with more tips.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.